There's nothing worse than when our member goes to work with a lunch bag and then has to come home in a body bag.
Sean was larger than life. I got a text from a friend saying, "You need to go to the hospital." And that was it. My world crashed. Before he was intubated, his last words is, "Make sure Nora's took care of." And that was the last words he said.
He was a very fun-loving guy. Loved his kids more than anything.
He was shy sometimes, but you could always tell that he cared about people, even if he didn't really talk too much.
Yeah.
And he liked messing with people in a nice way.
We got a knock on the door. So I went out because it was a gentleman and my daughters were in the house. And they told me that Fraser was killed in a workplace accident. And I kept thinking, like, he is the most safety conscious person I know. How could this have happened?
In 2004, the Westray Law was created, and that was to hold CEOs and managers criminally responsible for negligence when it caused a death, quite frankly, murder in the workplace. But all in all, the enforcement has been terrible.
Unfortunately, it hasn't been used. There's something like 1,000 workplace deaths a year in Canada. And if you think about that over the last 20 years, that's 20-some thousand workers that died because of their work, and there's only been a handful of uses of the Westray Law until very recently, and so we're keeping up the fight. That's what we're doing. That's why we're doing Stop the Killing, Enforce the Law.
At our national policy conference in 2023 in April, members called for continuous push and lobby and work to be done on the Stop the Killing, Enforce the Westray Law campaign. So we are reinvigorating and revamping that campaign. We're pushing for this law to be utilized in every workplace death and critical injury. It became abundantly clear that we need education for those who are responsible for enforcement.
We're asking for mandatory training for investigators and enforcement and prosecutors, and just to make sure that every workplace fatality, every serious workplace injury is investigated with a criminal lens, and if there is accountability, if there is responsibility for the employer, for the bosses, then they're held accountable criminally.
So often the police and others show up, release it to the health and safety folks, and don't look through the criminal lens at what has taken place. So when we do get to court, evidence has been tampered with, evidence has been removed, evidence has been walked through. So just so damn proud of our union, our relentlessness, and never to give this up. And now we're even taking the responsibility to create education, so there is no excuses.
There's negligence in many of these deaths, and they should be held accountable the way any other person is in society if they are criminally responsible for another's death or serious injury. We're not going to stop until looking at workplace fatalities and critical injuries are automatically investigated through that criminal lens.
We need to make sure that there's accountability, that there's justice, and that it's a deterrent. That CEOs, managers, supervisors know that if they put workers' lives in jeopardy, if they put their bodies in jeopardy, that they're going to pay, and they're going to pay criminally.
This will never go away. We are the Health and Safety Union, and we will never stop fighting for the Westray Law to be enforced.
That is exactly what we need. We need to hold our feet to the fire. We need to make sure that this, if it ever happens, God forbid it should, but if it do, that someone's going to be held liable.
I was very much a daddy's girl growing up. So it was kind of like hard when he was always there and then he wasn't. I didn't want to sit there alone with my grief, knowing that it could happen to someone else. So yeah, the turning point was, if I have to sit here with it, I can make other people sit here and think about it.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't have to happen to someone else.
Advocate and make a voice and make a stand. We need to continue to fight. We need to make our voices heard and the voices of those who've died. We need to speak for them. And if there is any chance of making change, it is the people who've lived that experience. It is the people who've been hurt and wounded and killed.